Time of Death by Marco Chavez. I stared at the envelope. Horse shit. How could this be true? How is it possible that the exact date and time of my death is printed inside this little paper tomb? Should I open it? I'm not sure. If I leave it, I'll never know. But if I open it, what's the point of life? Fucking Gladius, Glad, or whatever he calls himself. He's messing with me. I know he is. I was drunk and he knew how to push my buttons. This is his idea of a joke. Or is it? Groggily, I open my eyes as sunlight punches me in the face. My head pounds like someone's taken a sledgehammer to my brain. I reach for a glass of water. Empty. Figures. Rubbing my eyes, I sit up, and the room spins. I crawl off the bed, staggering into the bathroom. Cold water splashes against my face. I look in the mirror. I'm a goddamn train wreck. Then last night floods back, sharp and jumbled like shards of glass. We were at the Highmont Hotel, top shelf everything, my kind of scene. I'd just closed the biggest deal of my career, so a little celebration was in order. Shots were flowing, laughter echoing. I felt unstoppable, until he showed up. Gladius. That's what he said his name was. Weird guy. Tall, thin, didn't look like he belonged. Nobody knew him, and when I asked security to remove him, they ignored me. The hell? This was my party. At some point, I stopped caring. The drinks worked their magic, and somehow I ended up talking to him. It's all an illusion, you know, Glad said. What is? Time. Right, I've heard this before. I rolled my eyes. Humans made up time so they could track productivity. Seconds, minutes, hours, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. But here's the real question. If time doesn't exist, why are people so obsessed with when their time will come? What's your point? I said, annoyed. Do you know when you're going to die? Of course not. I could drop dead tonight for all I know. Does that scare you? He asked. I shrugged, the booze burning its way through my veins. No. Why be scared of something you can't control? Glad smiled, his teeth sharp in the dim light. Interesting. But what if you could know? Would you still feel so brave? He was getting under my skin now. Listen, man, you could hold a loaded gun to my head, and I'd still tell you to pull the trigger. Death doesn't scare me. That smirk again. I don't have a gun, but I do have something for you. Come with me. He led me to a room that didn't belong in the Highmont. The place felt old, like a forgotten library out of time. At the center sat a desk. An envelope rested there, perfectly still, like it had been waiting for me. It had my name on it. What the hell is this? Inside this envelope, Glad said, is the exact date and time of your death. You have two choices. Open it whenever you're ready, or walk away and forget we ever met. I laughed. You're out of your mind. He slid the envelope toward me, his face calm. The choice is yours. I woke up the next morning to find the envelope sitting on my nightstand. 8 years later. That envelope never left my side. It didn't matter where I went or what I did. It followed me, haunted me. I told myself I didn't care. I wasn't afraid of death. But I couldn't throw it away. I couldn't open it either. I told myself it was his lesson, his joke. Turns out the joke was on me. I'm sick now. Dying. The doctors don't know why, only that my body is failing, one organ at a time. I lie here in this hospital bed, staring at the ceiling. The envelope sits on the table beside me, watching me the way I watched it. It has a small tear in the corner where I almost opened it once. I stopped myself, too afraid. The door creaks open. I assume it's the nurse, but when I look up, Gladius is there. You, I whisper weakly. What do you want? He walks calmly to my bedside and picks up the envelope. Nobody ever opens it. His voice is soft, like he's stating an undeniable fact. As if the envelope becomes a reason to keep living, he says, turning it in his hands. Or maybe they're afraid. Knowing would make life meaningless to some, meaningful to others. Don't you think? I don't answer, I just stare. Glad continues. Humans are insignificant, you know. Microscopic. The universe doesn't care about you, me, or anyone else. We're grains of sand on an infinite beach. He pauses, looking at me. But we're giants in our own little worlds, aren't we? His words hit me like a lightning bolt. In the grand scheme of things, we are insignificant. But in our lives, our worlds, we're everything. The people we love, the choices we make, the things we create, they all matter. I spent years torturing myself over a slip of paper when I should have been living. Not for the stars or the universe. For me. Glad places the envelope in my hand. I clutch it tightly, feeling its weight for the first time. You only have one life, he says softly. Don't spoil it. Goodbye, old friend. He turns and walks out the door, leaving me alone. For the first time in years, I smile. I slowly start opening the envelope. A sense of euphoria washes over me as I pull out the folded paper. My vision blurs. Darkness,